We talk about the robots are coming. What sci-fi has done to us is it's told us that there's this like intergalactic robot overlord apocalypse that is looming. But the closer we get to the robots actually coming, we realize that it's way more terrifying than we ever imagined, because it's about job security. But what if your face is your job? And what if your personality is your career? Is that better or is that worse? Our next guest was a big part of our lives for such a long time, until one day when she just wasn't. She's an award-winning actress. Put your hands together, Lara Lipschitz.
Hi everyone, I'm Lara. Some of you may recognize me from somewhere, like your childhood. I was a child star. I was a presenter on YoTV for 10 years. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know what YoTV is, because you were too busy watching KTV, YoTV was a national children's television show, and it was huge. Every day, kids would rush home from school to sit in front of their TV and watch me and my fellow presenters introduce the next cartoon, or interview celebrities, or make snacks in a very limited amount of time. Snack attack! It was the best thing to watch on TV in the afternoons. At one point, we even had more viewers than Oprah. I'm not sure if that's a fact, but someone told me that, and I'm just going to go with that. And I still remember the moment that I got the call from my agent telling me that I had got the job. Now, as an actress, that is literally the best moment in your life at any given point. I was just 9 years old, and I remember running around my house screaming, "I'm gonna be on TV!" And it was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Back when I started out, it was in 1998, and there was a show called Disney's Cartoon Cafe, which had all your favorite Disney shows like Recess and DuckTales. And I remember the first time I walked into the studio, it was like incredible to be inside the TV. It was this big white studio, very bright, lots of lights. There were big black Dalmatian spots painted all over it. And in the center, there was a couch in the shape of Mickey Mouse's head. And at the end of the show, we had to do a dance called the Twiggle, which went like this. Everybody, let's twiggle! Da, 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 da. Which is great when you're 9. But when you're 17, and you're in matric, and you're getting picked on by the prepubescent boys in grade 8, they're like, "Hey, YoTV girl, do the twiggle for us, do the twiggle." And you're like, "Shut up, you guys love that show, you're literally the target audience." It was not cute, it was not fun anymore. I used to get teased all the time, and I was recognized everywhere I went, and I hated it. I hated being recognized. So now it's been about 10 years since I stopped doing YoTV, and I'm not recognized much at all these days, which is great, except for the fact that I hate it. I hate that I'm not recognized. I mean, I was on TV for 10 years, and nobody cares. I was fired from YoTV. Yeah. If you've ever been fired, you will know that it's pretty embarrassing. It was also really confusing because I never did anything wrong. I was a professional kid. My agency was called Professional Kids. I was never late. I never got tattoos or piercings on my face. I was a great role model for kids. I just made one pretty big mistake. See, at the time, I was planning to leave YoTV and become a professional actress. I was already studying drama, and I was taking my craft very seriously. And I'd gone on a few auditions without much success. So when this up-and-coming director approached me and offered me a role in his next big, important public service announcement for AIDS awareness and prevention, I was honored. Finally, it was like I was 9 years old again, and I was just running through my house screaming, I'm going to be a real actress. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Until I got to set, and I realized that I might have misunderstood the brief. This wasn't actually a PSA for AIDS awareness and prevention, but rather a commercial for an erectile dysfunction medication. And I was a professional actress, so it was too late to pull out. I just had to keep going. And it got worse when I had to, the director told me what I had to do. I had to be the girl that goes up to the guy at the bar and seductively whispers in his ear, "Let's go." Cut to bedroom scene. Guy sitting at the foot of his bed with his head in his hands, and me looking over at him, dejected, confused, upset, taking it all very seriously. I was professional. So when the producers at the SABC saw me during their late night ETV watching, because that's the only time that commercial was aired, just saying, they got a fright and they got angry and they called me in for a hearing where I had to plead my case and explain what the hell a YoTV presenter was doing on an erectile dysfunction commercial. And it was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do. I mean, I was just 19 years old and suddenly a marked woman. And I walked into this boardroom filled with overpaid SABC producers just staring at me. And I tried to explain, I tried to say, the director tricked me. He tricked me. He told me it was for AIDS awareness and prevention. And I really thought I was doing something good. And maybe that medication helps a lot of people. But they didn't care. They just fired me. And I didn't even get my tribute show. Every presenter that left got a tribute show with a montage of all their best moments on the show, and everyone would phone in and wish them farewell, and everyone would hug and cry, and it was beautiful. And I never got my tribute show, so my fans never got closure. They were just forced to forget about me, which they did rather successfully. The only time I'm recognized these days is when I really don't want to be. Like, the other day I went to a new beautician for a bikini wax, and I walked in there and she gives me this look that, like, I know you from somewhere, but I don't know where look, which I'm used to from my childhood. And she asks me, she's like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "Nope, never been here," as I'm taking off my pants. She's like, "No, your face is just so familiar. Did you go to Waverly Girls?" I'm like, "No," as I'm lying on the bed, spread eagle, and she's starting to put on this hot wax, and I'm starting to sweat from the heat of the wax, and I just wish she would shut up and get on with it, but she's not going to stop until she's solved this mystery. So she keeps going, like, "What do you do?" So I'm like, "Well, I'm an actress." "Oh, so have you been in anything?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, if you have to ask." She's like, "No, tell me, like, maybe I've seen you, maybe that's it." I'm like, "Well, I've done Bad Jews, I've been in Cabaret, I was in Jersey Boys, I've got an award-winning web series called Chin Up." And she's like, no, that's not it." I'm like, "Okay." And then suddenly she clicks. She's like, "Wait, I know where I know you from. You were on TV, right?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I was on YoTV for 10 years. And she's like, "No, that erectile dysfunction commercial." And that's my life. Thank you, everybody.